Hello, everybody. We're going to give people a chance to come in and get settled. Hi there. Welcome to our Lioness community event for today. We've got people just coming into the session, so we're going to give people a moment to come in and get settled. And meanwhile, if you have questions, definitely add those to the Q&A. That helps us as we are kind of doing this conversation, keep things organized, and also feel free to drop some information about yourself in the chat. Who are you? What is your entrepreneurial venture? And maybe a little bit about where you're from. If you want to connect with others in the chat, feel free to drop your LinkedIn into the chat. So share your LinkedIn. Exactly. All right, folks, we're going to start this conversation. And hi there and welcome. My name is Bobby Carlton. I'm the founder of Innovation Women. And today I am acting in my role as the editor in chief and the publisher of Lioness Magazine. We're going to go to the next slide. And I also want to make sure that people know to join us for our next networking event that will be in August. That will be on Tuesday, August 6th at noon Eastern. So if you're interested in joining us, we're going to be putting the sign up link in the chat. And obviously, if you are part of our newsletters, we will be sending out that information and that link in our newsletters. So don't worry, we'll be sending that to you. Hopefully you can join us in the networking in August. I know a lot of people are off on vacation. Next slide, please. If you haven't already joined our Lioness Entrepreneurship Forum, feel free to do so. That link is also coming to you in the chat. That is our Facebook group. And next slide. And we're going to kick right off with our conversation today. I feel like we've got the best, most amazing community owners, founders with us today. So we have Natalie Benamou, we have Stephanie Cartin, and Ruche Mittal. And I'm actually not going to do any introductions other than that because I am going to have them do their own introductions because they will do it so much better than I ever could. And while they're doing that, they can tell you a little bit about their communities. So, Ruchi, would you like to start? Tell us a little bit about HEN India and how you got started with that and kind of where it came from.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Bobby, for having me here and for, having me share about him. So you know what? I started my business just out of school, a schoolgirl just starting as a freelancer, and in no time see myself running a business, hiring my batchmates, and out there at the young age of 22, 23, I'm handling clients. While I'm doing that, at this time, I'm running a design agency, and here I go, fall flat on my face. I am not managing my projects well. I'm not managing my cash flow. I'm not able to manage my clients. I don't know how to deal with my team. There is no EQ in my business. And I realized that to run a business, I just don't need customers. That's just one part of my business. The real connection I need is people who help me to learn to business better. And in my that hunger, I started to look for people who will help me learn to business better. While doing this, I happen to be participating in a program in India. It's called Goldman Sachs 10K program. It was a program to educate 10,000 women entrepreneurs across the globe. And I happened to be one in that at that time. This was 2010, end of the year. And that program helped me understand that when, as entrepreneurs, we don't have a learning calendar. We don't have people who come in and share, okay, chalo, I'll tell you what I am doing in my business and how you can learn from each other. I felt if I can build a tribe where something like this can happen, that would be so, so useful. And just for myself, I started HEN. I
Awesome.
just started like as a Facebook group. I brought in some of my peers who were also entrepreneurs. And I told them, guys, this is our space to just share our day-to-day business problems, our business successes, and our business questions. And that's about it.
Awesome.
That
All right.
was the genesis. So, yeah.
Fantastic. And Hen is how many strong today?
So hen now on social media is like 35, 40,000 plus reach. That's the reach that we have for our community. And we work only with women entrepreneurs. We work with any women running business and looking to scale up. If knowledge and conversation is her zone, hen is her platform.
Fantastic. All right, we're moving on to Natalie. Tell us about the genesis and her C-suite.
Thank you, Bobby. Hi, I'm Natalie Benamou. I'm the founder of HerCsuite, and I'm starting out like I do my podcast, so very enthusiastic because I'm so excited to be here with all of you. And I started HerCsuite in 2020, and I had read statistics. Let's celebrate that women are on boards 3% on the Fortune 500, and I decided that just isn't really good enough. And so HerCsuite, the name came about we can make our own seat at the table and surround ourselves with people that we want to be around and level up. And so everything we do is around Connect Circles. We're a network community platform and app, and women are meeting, engaging, and thriving in meaningful ways, creating alliance partnerships like I have with Bobby Carlton and Innovation Women, and also attending other programs and other membership communities like Entreprenista League. So very, very wonderful to be connected with Stephanie, but it's all about who we surround ourselves with and lift each other up. And we have a unique way of doing that in Connect Circles. So women meet in a small ecosystem inside a larger ecosystem, creating limitless opportunities to meet, engage, and thrive and introduce each other, do business, get promoted, land board roles, and more. So that's a little bit about HerCsuite and what we're about. And we really focus on entrepreneurs as well as rising emerging leaders as well.
Fantastic. All right. And Stephanie.
Hi, everyone. I'm Stephanie Cartin. I am so thrilled to be here and meet everyone today. I am the co-founder of Entreprenista, which is a media company and a membership community, which is called the Entreprenista League, that is dedicated to serving and supporting women entrepreneurs looking to grow and scale their business and make incredible connections and relationships to not have to go at business alone. The Entreprenista League and Entreprenista was really initially born out of our social media agency, which is called Socialfly. So very quick backstory, and Bobby, I promise to make this 40 seconds and not 7 minutes. So Courtney and I started our agency business, Socialfly, 12 plus years ago, and we grew and scaled our marketing agency. And what started to happen was because of the quick growth and success of Socialfly, so many women entrepreneurs were reaching out to us all the time, wanting to go out to coffee and pick our brain and wanting to hear how we did it. And Courtney and I are the type of people that like to help absolutely everyone, but quickly realize physically impossible and not scalable to go out to coffee with everyone in the world. So we started thinking, how can we help as many women founders as possible and do it at scale? So Entreprenista actually started as our podcast in 2018. And then in 2020, because of the pandemic and all of the needs that we were seeing from women entrepreneurs, and people reaching out to us, we realized at that point we really needed to create our community and what Entreprenista is today. So we have about 2,000 members in our community, and everyone is in there networking and connecting and doing business. And it is truly just the biggest honor of my life to have created this and that I'm part of everyone's businesses and able to serve and help everyone every day, because you don't have to go out business alone. There's communities to be able to help you. So I'm just so thrilled to connect with everyone today.
Awesome. And I'm actually going to just jump in real quickly because Innovation Women is something that I consider a community, and Lioness, same thing. So we are all working together, and I just love surrounding myself with these awesome women who are doing amazing things specifically for women. And I know I usually tell people that I thought long and hard about creating a community just for women. So I'd like real quickly to hear your thinking about the creation and management of communities focused on just women. Because I admit, I was a little at first like, do I really want to cut myself off from others? And it was a big thought process for me. So Natalie, do you want to start with that one?
Yes, I do. And I have a story about that. So when I started HerCsuite, obviously the name makes sense. You hear it and you think women. And when we started, we had corporations come in and have their mentoring programs inside our C-suite. And there was one that was a cross-organizational mentor program with 5 companies assigning a mentor to a mentee across companies, and there were 2 men. And at first I was like, oh my gosh, what are we going to do? We have to program. And we did. We custom coded. So no woman knew that the men were there, and the men didn't see the women's content. But what I quickly learned, because this was at the very beginning, that first of all, the men didn't ever come in. So we did all that coding and special allowances, and I didn't use it. Hello. And then also the women reported that they did not like having the men as mentors. Now, that doesn't mean that men don't make great mentors. There are definitely instances where men are great sponsors, executive sponsors, and mentors in the right context. But in this context, it wasn't right. So I learned validation very quickly that women like a safe space where they can be authentic, true to themselves, and share what is on their minds and not feel nervous about what someone else might be thinking, or there's none of that. In fact, Bobby, we only allow nice people. So
All
that has
right.
nothing to do with men. That's just a comment.
Fantastic. Stephanie?
Yeah, I mean, I can echo and relate to a lot of what Natalie just shared. When we created the Entreprenista League, we heard from so many women, and also just from our own experiences being part of other groups that were both, had men and women in it, that women did want this safe space. And it's something that we wanted to. And when we created the Entreprenista League, we wanted to create what we wish we had on day one of starting our first business, Socialfy, and give everyone that safe space. And that's so much of the feedback that we've heard over the years. Is it's not to say at all, like, men and women, we all need to work together, and we need a lot of these men to be champions of the work that we are doing. But when it comes to the closed community aspect, where everyone feels like they can really have this safe space to talk to each other and be like real about actual issues that are happening, there's a lot of things that we go through that men just don't go through and have those experiences. And to be able to have this safe space has been very important to our members and community.
Yep. And Ruche.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I think we all have similar experiences. When I was looking at HEN, my personal experience was, after when I started my business, I found a lot of people judging me just because I was a woman. Because of that, I found myself not being able to ask some questions very easily. It took some time to be okay to be judged. That was first point. Second, I also realized that, when we marry and we move to different cities or different homes, different families, there is a time we need to kind of get through that culture. During that time, our businesses are running, and sometimes it just gets very difficult to manage the two. Accepting motherhood is third such milestone amongst women. So what's happening is these are different time zones at when, we want to just slow down in our business, but we don't want people to judge us. We want to choose how we want to grow. And when we are standing with our peer men entrepreneurs, sometimes they don't see these moments in their lives. Sometimes they have empathy, sometimes they don't have empathy. And I thought because of such reasons, we should just have a space where people can just ask questions, interact with each other, and understand that we all go through the same life. There's just no difference. Just how we deal with it is different. While I say that, on HEN currently, our learning sessions, we have men coming. They can pay and they can enter our sessions. We have mentors who are men. We do bring in a lot of support systems. So we're not gender biased, but we just want to create some comfort space for women. That's about it.
Yeah. I mean, I started with Innovation Women, kind of obviously being directed specifically to women. But over time, because we're a mission based organization and we're focused on getting more, let's just call them missing voices on the stage, we have opened it up to others who might not be able to really readily access speaking engagements.
Yeah.
So we do have men in Innovation Women. We also have a number of non-binary individuals. So we
Yeah.
do have options, but I would say probably 95% of our members are female or female identifying. So,
Yeah.
and just for our audience today, if you have questions, if you can use the Q&A function, makes it super easy for us to organize things, because I'm already seeing so many great questions that are popping up in the chat. So if we can drop those in the Q&A as well, that would be amazing. Thank you so much. Let's talk a little bit about kind of those big challenges you're facing when you're building a community. And I know this is like a big job. You are building a community, maybe you're creating technology. You've also got to get the people involved. And this is actually one of the questions that's come up in the chat. One of our guests here today is saying, how do you maintain the level of engagement? I don't know if that's anybody's particular challenge, but let's talk about those challenges you faced when building your community, especially in those early days. Stephanie, can we ask you to start off?
Oh my goodness. So many challenges, and there always continues to be new challenges as you're growing and you get to different stages in your business. So with Entreprenista and the Entreprenista League, we've built our business as a community first business. So our model is a membership model. When we first launched the community, of course, there's, so many challenges because everything is new when you're figuring it out as you're just getting started. For us, in the early days, the challenges actually weren't, getting new members. We already had built an audience through our podcast. And during, right around the time during the pandemic, people were so in need of community and support. So like the minute we said, we're launching this membership community, like people were very interested. They wanted to join right away because we were creating this amazing space for entrepreneurs. The challenges came as we now started growing very quickly and scaling. And I think the biggest challenges for us were pricing things properly to be able to then hire the team to service the demand of the community, and then also creating the tech stack to be able to execute everything that we were doing. So when we first started the community, of course, we did what I always say to do, like just get started, jump in, do it. I even put this on a mug for people, just get started, because that's the first step. But there's a lot of things that I didn't know because we had never launched a community as a business before. And we started out with a very different tech stack from what we have today. And that tech stack that we initially used when we started was not built for us to scale very quickly. So something that I wish we did in the early days was actually do more research on the tech stack to be able to support a growing community and what we wanted the community to be, years down the line, so we wouldn't have to change out everything, because the resources that go into building out your tech stack and then having to change everything a few months in, a year in, is very difficult. So figure out that tech stack in the early days and talk to people who have built communities first if you're building a community as a business.
Awesome. Okay, Natalie.
I can totally understand what you're saying because I spent 6 months researching the tech stack and then like another pretty much year of just focusing on this tech stack. And it's really easy to get sidetracked with that instead of the community, and you're pulled in a lot of different directions. And I think focusing on the community first, and also that pricing piece, because I was like you, we started and we would test something out and then, well, maybe that's not right. And then we try something out. And so it's really trying to find the right amount of, when do you decide to make a pivot in what you're offering and the value. It's always about the value. How do you deliver the value? And that, once you figure that out, I think it goes a lot smoother. But yeah. And I just want to finish one thing that Bobby was saying about having women speakers, because we prioritize our women speakers from Innovation Women, and I value the amazing speakers that she has, and also how there is a focus for women. So thank you, Bobby, for doing that.
Anytime. Ruchi,
Yeah.
challenges you're facing.
Lots of challenges. So absolutely resonate with what Natalie just shared. But we started out as a Facebook group. It was just a free group. So the first challenge for us was even to think, how do we move a free group to a paid subscription model, which we are today? And why do you do that? And in India, the whole subscription model wasn't really heard of in around 2018, 2019. So I actually took 2 years time just to understand what the community business is all about, what kind of business models can run. So anybody who's here building a community, you may want to think about these questions, what is the industry gonna evolve with, and look at it from a lens of 5 to 8 years at least. The second big question was, what is my business? Is my business community building, or is my business technology in community building? Because we also spent 6 months just understanding the tech, but then we chose a SaaS product over building our own tech because we felt we would like to be a community business and not a technology business. So the second question. Then the third question was, how do you price, and how do you make yourself seen and accepted? So that goes through the same route of how do you get people to taste your service, and how do you market yourself, and the whole gamut around it. The fourth is, how do you build engagement? Like, how do you bring the community together? How do you build that one to many relationship? I think community building as a business is that one to many formula that all of us as community builders keep working to track. So these were like some real time challenges, along with, of course, the regular cash flow issues I think all of us face.
Okay. And while you guys were talking about those challenges, and obviously the technology ends up being part of it, lots of people in the Q&A are going, what tech stack do you recommend? And also, what platform has not worked and worked for you while you were starting? So any technology recommendations, folks?
I'm happy to jump in and share some of the platforms that we're using. And I'm also happy to put links in the chat to these tools as well that we actually have discounts on, because a lot of the tools that we're using now, we've negotiated deals and discounts with all these platforms, because when we find things that work, we like to shout it from the rooftops and tell everyone, because they're like, okay, this works. Everyone needs to know about this. Like, this is what we recommend. I will caveat and say, this is what is working for us in our business right now. It doesn't mean just because it's working for Entreprenista that it necessarily is the right fit for your business. It depends on the business that you are building. So we were when we initially started the Entreprenista League, we were using a free platform. It might not be free anymore, but at the time it was free. They were just launching. It was a platform called Geneva. We switched to the platform that we use now. It's called Circle. And we love Circle. Like, it has just been an incredible platform. The back end of the tech is easy to use. Our members love the experience. They're always adding new features. Like, we love it. And many of our members now have created communities using Circle. So I'm happy to share that link. When we first started our community, we used like a funnel building software and platform that we are still on right now called Funnel Gorgeous, which is a white label version of a platform called Go High Level. That platform has been good, but as we've grown and scaled the business for what it offers, like, we actually need a much more robust platform. So we're in the process right now of moving everything over to Webflow. So I will let you know, check back in with me. I will let you know how the migration and everything goes. It's going to be a 6-month project to do everything. And that's the other thing to remember, is moving your tech stack. It is such a process because everything is connected to everything. So we were using email on Funnel Gorgeous, but then we moved over last year to Klaviyo, which we love Klaviyo. Like, it's been an incredible platform for us. Again, it's not the right email platform for everyone. It depends on your business. But for us, Klaviyo has been incredible and has many more capabilities than Funnel Gorgeous has for emails. But again, there's so many different softwares and tools that are out there. And once you're like specific on like what you want to offer, experts, I think, can really recommend based on what they've used. Okay, you should use this platform or this platform based on what you're looking to build. So that's what's worked for us, just a few of the platforms. I mean, there's a bunch of other things, Stripe and Zapier and tons of other technology that we use, but those are the big ones right now for our email and our community and website.
Yeah.
Yep. And I will just, for everybody's edification, tech stack really is just, all of the technology tools that you pull together to enable anything you're doing in business. So lots of marketing folks, Stephanie and myself, and I'm sure Ruche and Natalie, we all tend to use the word tech stack to indicate multiple different tools that we're using. Natalie, you want to
Yeah.
talk about your tech at all?
Yeah, I do, because actually, so I use Buddy Boss is my foundation, and what it does, it's a SaaS product that I purchased. I can only laugh because this was at the beginning, and I was like, "Oh, I'm going to sell this." And so I bought 10 licenses in case anyone wants me to build them one. I can do that. I'm just kidding. But not really. It is possible. But so for us, we're built on WordPress. And when we say tech stack, there's it's called plugins, and there's a lot of plugins on our WordPress, and then we custom coded with many people to make it look like the way we like it and function the way we like it. So we customize the SaaS product. And we have learning LMS built into each of our circles. Zoom is integrated into each of our circles and things like that. And I know that's also the case in Circle. The one thing that it allows us to do is to have private custom company little hubs inside. We call them connect circles, but inside the bigger thing. And that was the differentiator for us, is that we wanted to have community inside community. But I'm in Entreprenista League, and I love how easy it is to navigate. And it has given me ideas of like, oh, that's really cool the way she's doing this, or they're doing this, or what have you. So I think we can always learn from other people's technology and build on it. And part of, if you're thinking about doing a community, there's, do you want it gated, which means that nobody can access it? That adds a whole lot of complexity to how things are shared inside your community, what's visible. And Ruchi, I don't know if you have that too, where it's like, I don't know if it's gated and you can't see, there's things that you have to keep in mind about what's visible and the code and all of that. So that's my 2 cents on tech stack.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So Natalie, you're right. We have a community that nobody from outside can see what we're doing inside. But we got that through another SaaS product. I don't know if they have a US version. It's called Clink in India. But some products that I looked at from US was Mighty Network and Circle. Mighty Network is also very promising as Circle. So if you're in US building a community, these are two platforms. You can just go and look at them. Along with running your community, the other aspect of running a community business is managing subscriptions, managing communication, which is emails, WhatsApp messages, calendar invites, and managing your payments, subscription payments, offerings, different plans. How we are dealing with all of this is through Zoho. We use 25 Zoho products. Another thing, if you're running a community business, Zoho is a global product you can explore. They have various products under one Zoho system, and all products talk to each other. So it's beautiful to manage the business.
All
So,
right.
yeah.
And again, we're getting some great questions in from the audience, as I'm also asking the questions that we had set up in advance. But one of the questions that I was like really interested in is starting a community. One of the questions from our audience is, do you start charging at the beginning, or provide levels? Like, as you guys were thinking about, this has to be a sustainable business, like, how did you think about charging and being at the onset? Like, do you start at the gate, or do you provide levels inside? So anyone want to jump in on that one, Ruchi?
I will take it. Yeah, sure. So when we put HEN together, this was really a very unheard model in India. And we are one of the only communities, I think, in India, which is bootstrapped and is working only for women entrepreneurs. And people judge because, why should they invest? Was the question. So we actually started with 2 months free membership. before people could pay us for the first year. From the second year, we changed that 2 months to 1 month, and we till now have that. We offer 1 month free membership to every woman running a business and wants to know what's happening inside of HEN. In that 1 month, we give them all the meetings free. We let them access and communicate with all the members because we believe that if they get a taste of what can possibly happen, their chances of signing up becomes higher. So that's number one. When we started to price, so we started with a very basic price point, only one paid plan in the year one, but we kept listening to our members constantly. So over 3 years now, we have three paid membership plans, and we've increased our price as well. So my learning is if you are building a business in community space, listen to your audience and think like them. Like genuinely think if you were in that chair, how much would you want to spend for your service? And from there, start your journey. I think that's a good way of building your business.
Ruche, can I ask Ruche a question based on what you just shared?
Yeah.
With the model that you have done now where it's 1 month free, what has been your the experience doing that with the conversion of people that stay in and pay? Like, can they still stay in a free model, or do you end up removing them from the community if they
No, we remove them.
remove them? Okay.
We remove them from the community, and all the meetings that we then send them become paid meetings for them. So what happens is we've also seen sometimes, as entrepreneurs, we are busy. So we choose to sign up in a community, say 1 month after, 2 months after. We've had people who've come and signed up after 6 months and 1 year also. But because we've been sending them emails and, we've been giving them opportunities, we are on top of their mind and they relate to what we do. So it works beautifully for them and for us.
Okay. Natalie,
Thanks,
anything on
Stephanie.
your pricing model starting from the outset?
Yeah, I did 2 beta mastermind circles for about 6 months and didn't charge. And this was in the pandemic, so we met weekly, if you can imagine, because we were all just sitting there going, okay, what are we doing here? And then April 2021, so about 6 months after we had done that, then we went to a charging model, and it was really simple because it was one target focused demographic. And then as we expanded, it made it more complex with pricing, but also helped us elevate our offer to be more value to the member because it's very targeted to what they need, whether they're trying to land a board role or what have you. It's specific to them. So the pricing for us has evolved over time, but we started out with free just to get traction and proof and how is it working and what do you like and what you need people to test out whatever you're doing, whether you're not using technology and you're meeting in person and do they like meeting in person or whatever it is, you have to get the feedback, and it definitely helps to have people that give it to you honestly and so you can adjust your sales and which way you're going to go.
Yeah. And that actually leads us into an interesting question. I mean, lately we have been seeing some women in tech organizations shutting down due to lack of corporate support. So women who code, girls who code have both shut down in the last couple of months. And it feels like there's a moment. Also, the SHRM announcement recently where they are removing equity from diversity, equity, and inclusion, and only looking at diversity and inclusion. Obviously, we have spaces that are dedicated to women, even if some of I allow in others. I'm curious, what you guys think about that. Are you seeing any issues like that? And actually, Stephanie, I'm going to start with you because I know this is something you've thought about.
Yeah, I think, first of all, it's very upsetting to see a lot of these communities that are shutting down because they don't have these corporate sponsors anymore. And what's just happening in the world with this whole topic of not being able to support companies and communities that are focused on helping women, and that there's controversy over that. It's really hard and upsetting. Now, what I've seen is that when you're building a business, if you build your business model based on only having corporate sponsors and those dollars go away, you can be in big trouble. Like, you are building your business based on other people's businesses instead of building your business as a community based on the core community and your offerings, because that's what you have and what you offer, and you're creating your own product. If you're building your business where the revenue has to come from outside sources, you're potentially building an unsustainable business. If that money goes away, you have to be able to build that core product and have people pay for that core product, or you can be in trouble, like what we've seen happen. So I think there's a few big learning lessons from what's happening. One is create a business where your customers are going to pay for your product or service. And if there is an opportunity for corporate sponsors and partners, like we have that in our business, right? We have a lot of corporate partners and people who want to sponsor the work that we're doing, but we can't build our business dependent on that revenue because that can go away tomorrow. And just making sure that you're creating a product that people want to have and want to buy, and you're always listening to your customers for what's needed.
Yep. Either one of you, Natalie or Ruche, want to talk about this? Ruche?
Yeah, I mean, I agree to what Stephanie is saying. I don't think it is about tech or community business that's losing. It's more about, do we have sustainable businesses? That's all the question is. And sustainable business does not mean just falling back on investors. It just means how much money can we multiply through our services. If we look at business from that angle, life gets a little better. But if we look at it from the aspect of community building, I think the world that I am seeing, people are gearing up to accept the subscription business model. We are happier to invest in subscription businesses that leads to entertainment. But how are we really getting okay with subscription business services across various requirements is something I think people are gearing up for now.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'd just like to add that one of the best ways to kind of secure your business is to have alliance partnerships. So I'm constantly looking for female founders that are alliance partners and creating these relationships, and it literally multiplies your business and solidifies that situation so that you can make a decision and maybe you merge with one of your partners as opposed to having to walk away. And it is heartbreaking because women in tech matter. So wanting to support all of the women entrepreneurs, but alliance partners is a really solid way to kind of make sure that you have other people supporting you that understand your business model.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. We've only got limited time here today, so I want to make sure we get to a couple of really interesting things for actually having success inside a community. Now, when we're talking about, the things that we all do, this is the building of communities, but people exist within our communities, and they are finding business success inside the communities. So I'm wondering if each one of you can share a single success story from your business, from inside your community, something that you find particularly inspiring. So, Stephanie, or let's start with you on that one.
Sure, I'm happy to jump in. This is my favorite part of community building, is seeing all of the results and success stories that are happening inside the community. And I literally wake up every single day. First thing I do is check our community platform and just see all these things happening. Like, there's nothing better than just seeing the impact of the work that you've done every day and the results. So the first thing that I'll share is, if and when you join a community, you have to show up, right? If you join a community, you can't expect like all these amazing things are going to happen for you if you're just in there like browsing every day and not taking action. So it starts with like being a participant in the community and having people like actually get to know you. So it starts with like introducing yourself, and there's obviously a lot of tips I can share about how to write a really great intro post, how to start building relationships with other community members, but it just starts with showing up. Members in our Entreprenista community that are, showing up in the community, the types of results they are they are experiencing are mostly because of the connections and collaborations that are happening with other members. So one example I'll share with you, her name is Ruche M. She joined our community exactly about a year ago, June of 2023, and she's now starting her third business. She didn't have Instagram. She's starting a whole brand new business. And I made some early introductions for her, one to someone in our community named Sabina Hitchin, who also runs a community called Press for Success, teaching founders how to get press. She helped her learn how to get press for her business. Now she's been featured on tons of media outlets, Good Morning America, all these different platforms. And now she has a reoccurring segment on NBC Miami. Like she's like the host of this segment on NBC Miami because she took the time to meet with other members, hear how they can help her in her business. And she's like very action oriented. And now we actually made her the other co-host of our other podcast called Startups and Stilettos. So when you show up, when you ask for what you need, you share the support that you're looking for, people will show up for you and share how they can help and what they can do. And if you take action, all of these really great things can happen.
Awesome. All right, Natalie, success story.
I have two, because one is about Entreprenista League. I met with someone yesterday from Entreprenista League, and last night I referred her to someone in my community to help her with a trademark question. So you can cross-pollinate communities, but my success story is kind of this, infinity circle. So I was on a podcast, Brave Women at Work. She was on my podcast. I was like, oh, you should talk to my friend Hope, one of my founding members, Hope Mueller, who's a publisher. They got together, they started publishing Brave Women at Work. They have 3 bestsellers and now they're about to do their 4th. They started Climb Retreats. So now they had a retreat that they started. And inside our C-suite in our entrepreneur circle, they hired innovation women speakers to be at their retreat. And so it's just like this ever evolving ecosystem of now they both have their own private circle hub inside her C-suite. So it's the ecosystem that you can create with introductions and curated conversations. And that's what I love about what Stephanie's doing. And also, all of us today is think about who you can introduce. You've seen a lot of people in the chat. This is your opportunity to meet people in the chat and make an introduction either for yourself or look at what they do and say, I know someone I could introduce you to. Let's create this idea just in the meeting today and see what happens. So it's really rewarding. Like Stephanie was saying, I just love seeing what happens when women can contribute and work together and lift up the tide. So it's really rewarding.
All right,
Bobby, can I jump in and just share something based on what you shared? So, we were talking before about like pricing. How do you value your offering and what will people pay for it? I have just found it so hard to price and value what you get from being in a community because it truly is priceless. Like, how do you put a price on finding your business partner, as you just shared, and now all of the things that have been created from that relationship? It's like putting a price on the value of relationships in a community. It really is priceless. Like it's very hard to value. So like if you show up and you ask and you meet and you build real relationships, it is the most important, valuable thing you will do in your business is being in multiple communities to make these connections.
Yeah.
All right. Ruche,
absolutely. Thank you, Bobby. And I absolutely agree to what Stephanie and Natalie is saying. You have to show up. There's no community that can work without you showing up. We often tell this to our members, think of it as a gym membership. You got to come and get onto the machine. Just getting the membership is not going to get you business or visibility. And yes, we got to be open to sharing our connections. But what the two of you said, and then we had some questions: should we do virtual meets? Should we do offline meets? Or how do we partner? Who do we partner with? So here is a story: 2 members in our community met on a virtual platform. They connected with each other on a non-agenda coffee meet where they just tend to know each other. And they are both from the same industry. They both come from marketing and branding space. And they are in 2 different locations. One is in Gujarat in India. One is in Delhi in India. So think of it as East India, West India versus North India to some level. And they connect. After a few months, person sitting in Gujarat thinks that she does not want to continue with her marketing business. She wants to switch her business and get into something else. But she has set clients. What does she do with these clients? Because she met somebody else on HEN and she kind of built trust with each other, she actually handed over her clients to another company. So this is what power of community is. Can we think when we have to collaborate, we are always looking at, we question, should we connect with people in our industry? To which the answer is yes, 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 because when those people have overflow of work, that will spill over into your basket. And that's exactly what happened. So, community is for us to be visible, to build trust, to create that connection, because business comes to people, it does not come to brand names.
Okay. Yes. And actually, that was kind of leading into, how to best participate in a community. There's only so many hours in our day. It's easy to get distracted and or fall down the rabbit hole in a community, especially if there is an active, vibrant community with lots of resources. Maybe each offering a quick tip on best practices in terms of participating in a community. I know you've all like kind of mentioned a few things, but let's talk about, you're actively participating in a community. There's a time investment for that. And how do you select the best communities to focus on? So let's talk quick tips. Okay. Ruchi, let's like start off with you and then go through the guests here.
Cool. So for me, how I would look at it is, spend 10-15 minutes a day or every alternate day is what even I tell to my members. Just keep that much for hen. And what you do is you either come and talk about what's new in your business. We all are running business. We have regular questions. We might as well just share that. Or there are new members coming in every day. Just a hi to them is enough. A good way to show up. Schedule yourself for at least 1 or 2 meetings basis your interest. We do weekly meetings. So in a month, there is like 4 to 5 opportunities to connect. Show up for one. That's enough to kind of start building connections. And offline coffee meets. I think this is a must for everybody. Online, offline, non-agenda meetings. Like have a calendar to meet 2 to 3 new people in a week. That's about it.
Okay,
If you
Stephanie.
have it,
Oh, sorry.
yeah, that's all.
All right, Stephanie.
Yes to everything Ruchi just said. So agree with all of that. You should do all of those things. Another tip is really thinking about what your goals are for being in the community and what success looks like to you. So if you are, I'll give you an example of the Entreprenista League. So at Entreprenista, one of the great things about Entreprenista is we offer so much in our community. But coming in as a new member, you might be like, where do I start? What do I do? Because like, do I go get my press feature? Do I go to networking meetings? Do I spend my time engaging in the chat? Do I want to get my discounted business tools and resources? Like, what do I do? Where do I start? With our community, we have a whole like where to start, what to do. I would, in any community, most of them do, where you can read through like how to get the most out of the community, like invest that time in the beginning when you join a community and read all of those like best practices for the community so you can learn how to navigate it. And then based on what's offered in the community, set goals for yourself of what's important to you. Your goal for the first quarter might be, my goal is to start building relationships with other entrepreneurs because I don't have a big network of entrepreneurs. Great. Then have, like Ruchi said, do 3 coffee chats a week and start building your network and start making sure you have like a CRM of all the people that you're meeting. So now when you meet someone else and they're like, oh, I need a trademark attorney, you can say, oh, I just met Berkeley and Lauren Bergerston, and they have a trademark business. You should go connect to them because now you can start being that connector as well. And other people will be top of mind for you and you will be top of mind for other people. If you are like, this quarter, I want to focus on getting press, like focus on those things that are important to you, accomplish those goals, and then move on to the next thing. You don't have to try to do like absolutely everything at once in a community, no matter what community you're in, because that can feel really overwhelming. So one step and one goal at a time is my advice.
All right,
I love
Natalie.
that. I love that. And I was going to say goal setting, but I always ask everyone, if you ever schedule a call with me, the first question I say is, what does success look like for you? And I think that if you go into a community with the idea that you're serving first, so what can you offer someone? Superpower is connecting people. So what Stephanie's saying, like every call I'm thinking like, who can I introduce you to? Oh, I know these people and I'm going to make this connection for you. It's just, I can't stop. I can't sit on my hands about it. I have to do it. And so what is your superpower that you can bring to that community to add value that makes it so that people want to engage with you? And it also helps the other person. So whatever that is, whether it's giving, trademark advice, like we were talking about, Lauren, or that's who it was, by the way, or whoever it is, that really gives purpose, and it makes you excited to see then the ripple effect of what happened with that person. So Ruche, you were talking about people meeting and coming in, and when they see that something they said or did helps someone else, there's nothing like the adrenaline rush, like Stephanie was saying, when you open up your app or whatever, and you're like, oh, look at this, these people are connecting, it's so great. There's nothing like it. So when you see that you made a difference, that's the first thing in a community that helps. It's contagious, and people want to get involved and help each other.
By the way, so Lauren Bergeson, right? We've now brought up Lauren on this call to all these new people.
I know.
She is someone who shows up in our community.
She does.
She's sharing valuable content. She started a book club in our community. So she is now top of mind for myself, for Natalie. I'm making introductions for her. Natalie's making introductions. She's now been talked about on this call that's going to reach thousands of people as well, because she showed up in a community. And that is the power and the impact of community when you show up, how far it can reach and go.
Yeah. And incidentally, we have a trademark attorney in her C-suite, and I'm introducing them because they're both in Florida. So that's the power of, you can be with someone that does the same thing. We have a lot of coaches in our community. That's great, because everybody has a unique thing that you do. And so when you join a community, you don't have to think, well, I don't want to be there because there's other people like me. No, you're unique. You bring yourself authentically, and someone else will too. So that's the beauty of seeing how it can expand.
All right. I want to make sure before we have to go in like 7 minutes that we have an opportunity to talk about like the vision for the future of your communities. Like, there are big initiatives or projects that you're excited about that you can share with us. Like, and maybe like, what's the BHAG, like the big, hairy, audacious goal, if you haven't heard that term before, folks, that you have. What's the vision of the future for you? So anyone want to volunteer to start in on this one?
Sure.
Okay, Ruche, go for it.
So for HEN, we are working on 2 to 3 big goals. The first big goal, of course, is for the community to be self-sustainable, guys. I mean, it's a subscription-based business model. We're building it. It's in a building stage. Let me be very candid and honest. The second big audacious goal is for the community to run the community. It's a genesis, it's a seed. And as a community builder, to sow that seed and for it to kind of, grow is my personal biggest goal, because, that means that the community will grow beyond me as well. So these are my 2 visionary goals, but just from the, just ask for something and I'll say, God, give me one HEN application with 100,000 women entrepreneurs successfully making business, something that we can measure and tell the world that, look, here it is, and women can business together.
Nice. All right. Stephanie?
Love that. So we've been growing Entreprenista by listening to our community and the needs of our community. I think this was brought up before. So when we first started Entreprenista, I actually didn't get into the pricing model before, but we started as like an annual membership dues, and we changed our model to a lifetime access model. So you join our membership community, you get lifetime access to the community platform and all of our core membership benefits and networking and educational events. But what we were hearing from the community, and it was actually the same thing as like what Courtney and I needed as we were growing our business, is these smaller cohort groups to be able to get really specific based on certain goals in your business or certain stages of your business, to have that core group that you're working with and going through and having a coach and someone that's even farther along than you in business to essentially teach you. So we're working on building out more of this core group, power group model. We've just launched our agency owner power group. We did like a soft launch of it over the past year with Courtney leading it, and now have actually brought on our mentor, who we've worked with for many years, Carrie Cartin, and she's going to be leading the group for agency owners. And then the other need that has come up so much, actually based on this conversation, is we've launched now a community builder cohort, because so many people come to me and also a fellow member who I've teamed up with, Ingrid Reed, in the community, who is a professional community builder. And we've put together this 8-week program to teach people how to build community-based businesses, and all of our learnings from over the years. So you don't have to make all the mistakes that we made from the beginning. You make some, but not all of them will help. So we're really working on building out these other cohorts and programs.
We make new and exciting mistakes.
Yes. We learn from them and don't repeat them. And then I share all of them.
All right, Natalie.
Well, as a member, thank you, Stephanie, to know what your roadmap is. So I'm excited to know what you have coming up. The thing that I'm most excited about, and the thing that I think we're going to scale with, is our Connect circles for coaches and for course creators. So we looked at the biggest barrier, and it's tech. We've talked about this today. It's tech. It's doing your graphics. People have ideas. They have their course. They've created their video, and then what? So we take the then what and put it into a Connect circle and make it really easy for them to build and scale their business. And they bring their community into our community. So it's this ecosystem. So that's what I'm really excited about, the opportunity to grow our communities together and see how it all unfolds. So
Natalie, we have to meet, because I bet we could do stuff together.
I know. I'm so excited. That's true.
Absolutely.
The power of alliance partnerships with all 4 of us here today is amazing.
Hence this event today.
Yes.
And I'm gonna just, let slip maybe that Innovation Women and Lioness might be doing something in the community department soon. So stay tuned for that. We've got a couple of very specific questions.
Bobby, I want
go
to
ahead.
share something before we get to the next section. One thing I missed sharing was one big goal that I have is to be able to create a channel where women entrepreneur communities globally can open networking meets. So for example, if Indian women entrepreneurs get to interact with communities like all you 3 ladies here running successful groups, and hit a conversation for people to explore by themselves, what they can create for each other. If nothing at all, there is so much learning that we have on the table to just learn best practices in our own industries. So that's something that I really, really thrive to get to live, basically. Yeah.
Very cool. And we've got like just 2 minutes, couple of very quick questions. Question for Entreprenista: has opening up membership for a limited time giving your audience a sense of urgency to join work for you? And by what percentage does that model bring you new members? Woof. Okay.
Okay. Well, no, I'm going to try 30 seconds here, but it's a much longer conversation. When we first launched the community, it was evergreen. You could join at any time, and which is the model I always wanted, because I don't want to limit people from being able to have access and join the community. Like, that's why we're here. We want everyone to join. What we found was human behavior. People didn't take action unless there was urgency. So then we started doing an open enrollment period. The other thing is, it was actually helpful for our team, like doing open and closed enrollment, just from a logistics perspective, like everyone is joining at the same time. It can go through onboarding together. So that was really, has been very helpful. But what's challenging about that is building a business model based on these open and closed enrollment periods. Different times of the year, people have different mindsets about joining communities. So if you're building a business model based on this open and closed enrollment and launch strategy, that can be very challenging. So we're actually working on the back end of like how we're going to be updating and changing all of that right now. And it's been a really big evolution for us.
Awesome. Okay. All right. Super fast. Last goodbye, tip, whatever from everybody. Any last words of wisdom, Natalie?
I just said, pick someone in the chat and introduce yourself today. Take action. Start creating your own board of advisors, your own ecosystem. Connect with people, connect with us. I think all of our LinkedIn is on the chat, so connect.
Awesome. Ruche?
If you're here to build your community, just believe in it. Believe it to achieve it. So, guys, all the best. Live your dreams.
Fantastic. And Stephanie?
Please do not try to build a business by yourself in a silo. Be part of a community and utilize the resources and connection and support. Building a business is all about the relationships that you have and the network in the community that you have. So don't try to do it by yourself. You don't have to. Invest in yourself and invest in being part of communities.
Awesome. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you to our fabulous guests, and thank you all for joining us. Keep your eyes open for the follow-up article with all kinds of good stuff included. Take care, everyone. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
Thank
Hi,
you.
everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
See you. Thanks. Bye. Have a great day ahead.